The evolution of the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills were the sixth team to be admitted to the fledgling American Football League. On October 28, 1959, Ralph C. Wilson was handed the franchise. Since then, the Bills have had extended periods of championship dominance as well as second division's dissatisfaction. In this video, we'll take a look at the evolution of the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills were neither the first professional football team to play in the city, nor were they the first NFL team in the area. The Buffalo-Niagara franchise was created in 1918. It played under several identities from 1918 to 1929 before folding. That team joined what would become the NFL in 1920 and finished tied for first place in the league standings in 1921. After Buffalo hosted two NFL games in 1938, the Buffalo Indians were established by the Third American Football League. The Indians played for 2 years before the league was halted and eventually collapsed due to World War II. When the All-America Football Conference was founded after the war, Buffalo was chosen for another club, originally known as the Buffalo Bisons, the same name as a baseball and hockey team in the area. The team sought a new identity and renamed itself the Buffalo Bills in 1947. When the AAFC and the NFL amalgamated in 1950, the AAFC Bills became the Cleveland Browns. Despite the fact that there was no relations between the AAFC squad and the current team, the Bills' name became so popular that it was chosen as the namesake for the future American Football League team that would exist in 1959. When Lamar Hunt announced the founding of the American Football League in the summer of 1959, Harry Wismer, who would own the Titans of New York, contacted insurance salesman and automotive heir Ralph C. Wilson Jr. to see if he was interested in joining the fledgling league. Wilson agreed to field a club in the new league on the conditions that please include me. I'll accept a franchise any place you want to put it. Hunt provided him a list of 5 locations to choose from: Miami, Buffalo, Cincinnati, and 2 more. After being turned down for a team in Miami and conferring with Detroit media, he turned to Buffalo. This attempt was successful, and he sent Hunt the now famous telegram, "Count me in with Buffalo." In 1960, the Buffalo Bills were a founding member of the American Football League. Following a public vote, the franchise was given the same name as the defunct All-America Football Conference team in Buffalo, the AAFC Buffalo Bills. Buffalo finished last in the league in 1960, earning the team the first spot in the 1961 AFL pick, which they used to draft offensive tackle Ken Rice. In the same draft, they also selected guard Billy Shaw. Success did not come easily. On August 8, 1961, the Bills became the first American Football League team to play the adjacent Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League. They also have the dubious distinctions of being the only current NFL team to have ever lost a CFL team, as the Tiger Cats triumphed 38-21 as a result of that game. The Bills' first taste of success came in their 4th season, 1963, when they matched for the AFL Eastern Division title but lost in the playoff to the Boston Patriots. However, in 1964 and 1965, they not only won their division but also defeated the San Diego Chargers in the AFL Championship game. After the 1965 season, head coach Lou Saban, who was elected AFL Coach of the Year every year, resigned. Hamilton was one of the best teams in the CFL, while Buffalo was the weakest team in the AFL at the time. That was about to change though. Buffalo began to stack up on offensive talent during the 1962 summer. The San Diego Chargers claimed Jack Kemp off waivers after the Chargers believed Kemp, who had led the Chargers to back-to-back AFL championship games, had a broken hand. Bills also drafted Syracuse running back sensations Ernie Davis. Unfortunately, Davis chose to play in the NFL instead and died of leukemia before playing a single down. Instead, the Bills signed Cookie Gilchrist, one of the CFL's premier running backs. These offensive talents, along with the development of one of the AFL's most formidable defenses, resulted in a quick turnaround that saw the Bills reach the playoffs by 1963. The Bills were a terrific defensive club in the AFL, which was primarily an offensive league. During the regular season, the 1964 Bills allowed only 913 yards rushing on 300 attempts, a pro football record. The same defense had 50 quarterback sacks, a team record that still stands today despite being set in a 14-game season. They were the first club in the American Football League to win 13 games in a single season. The 1964 defense also allowed only 4 rushing scores all season. beginning a streak that would last into the 1965 season, 17 consecutive games without allowing an opponent to score a rushing touchdown. The 1964 team had 8 members on the AFL Eastern Division All-Star team, including cornerback Butch Burt. 3 were named to the American Football League's all-time team, and 6 were named to the second team. Billy Shaw, a member of the 1964 Buffalo Bills, was the only professional football player ever inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame without ever playing in the NFL. Mike Stratton, famous for his hit hurt round the world in the 1964 AFL Championship, played for the Bills during this time period, as did punter Paul McGuire and future NFL coach Marty Schottenheimer from 1965 to 1968. The Bills won the AFL Championship in both 1964 and 1965 and were only of 3 teams to appear in an NFL Championship game 3 years in a row, as well as the only AFL team to play in the postseason 4 years in a row from 1963 to 1966. The Bills had offensive firepower as well, with talents like fullback Cookie Gilchrist, quarterbacks Jack Kemp and Darryl Lamonica, and receivers Albert Dubanian and Ernie Warlick. Bob Kalsu, an offensive lineman, left the Bills following his rookie season in 1968 to participate in the Vietnam War, where he was killed in actions in 1970. The 1968 season was turbulent. Due to the injury to starter Jack Kemp, Buffalo resorted to turning wide receiver Ed Rutkowski to quarterback in the rotations that included Rutkowski, Kay Stevenson, and Dan Darragh. The outcome was devastating, and the Bills once again finished bottom in the league, giving them the first overall draft pick in what was now the combined AFL-NFL draft. With the choice, the Bills chose O.J. Simpson. However, Marv Levy, who took over as coach in 1986, swiftly transformed the Bills into one of the league's genuinely dominant teams. Beginning in 1988, the Bills won 5 AFC Eastern crowns in 6 years, becoming the only team in history to participate in 4 consecutive Super Bowls. In 2001, Levy was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Buddy Nix, a former San Diego Chargers assistant general manager, was named the general manager in the final week of the 2009 season. One of his first personal decisions was to sever ties with Owens. Chan Gailey was named head coach on January 20. Gailey formerly served as the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator and the head coach of Georgia Tech and the Dallas Cowboys, finishing 8-0 in the divisions in 1998 and led the team to the playoffs in both 1998 and 1999. When Terrell Owens' contract expired in March 2010, the Bills elected not to re-sign him. The Bills opened 2010 with a home loss to Miami. After a 0-4 start, the Bills fired Trent Edwards and designated Ryan Fitzpatrick starter. Despite some close games, they finished 0-8 before beating Detroit at home in Week 10. Then came a 49-31 victory in Cincinnati and an overtime defeat in Pittsburgh. The team had a 4-12 record in 2010. Shortly after the 2011 NFL Draft, the Bills fired Tom Wadrack, one of the last links to the Donahue era. As a result of their dismal performance in 2010, the Bills received the 3rd overall pick in the draft, which they used to choose defensive tackle Marcel Darius in an effort to strengthen the team's long-struggling run defense. While 3 coaches, Saban, Knox, and Levy, had been principally responsible for Buffalo's winning seasons, a handful of outstanding players have also played important roles in the Bills' success. While Simpson was the driving force in the early 1970s, talents such as quarterback Jack Kemp, who later became a United States congressman, fullback Cookie Gilchrist, defensive tackle Tom Sestak, and Hall of Fame guard Billy Shaw all played important roles. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, Levy's team were led by perennial all-stars such as quarterback Jim Kelly, running back Thurman Thomas, and defensive end Bruce Smith. Attendance demands required the Bills' first inner-city home, War Memorial Stadium, to be expanded from 26,000 to 45,748 seats over the course of 13 seasons. The Bills relocated to Rich Stadium in suburban Orchard Park, New York, in 1973. In 1991, Buffalo supporters established an NFL single-season attendance record with 635,889 people in attendance. Terry and Kim Pegula bought the Bills in 2014. They are only the team's second owners in its history. And with that being said, it's time to end our today's video. Subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you with another interesting video.